So, welcome to Finland, the land of Sanna Marin, Kääriä, Santa Claus, and, probably something else as well. And welcome to my bubble. This is my lens collection. Plus, of course, the lens that you're looking through right now. Ranging from a very wide 8 to 15mm fisheye to a capable 100 to 400mm telephoto lens, I finally feel like I have completed my set after 10 years of working in the media field. I don't feel like I need to buy more lenses. Maybe I'm missing a 35, but I already have a 40, so it becomes a hassle to get more lenses, or it's not worth it anymore. I've been shooting my photography on the Canon R5 for a few years now. So why am I carrying a bag full of EF lenses with me when I could be switching to a much more, fresh and new RF mount? For me, there's a lot of reasons why not to switch, and I'll be going through that in this video. And at the end of the video, I'll be also explaining a little bit why there are some good reasons to switch to RF as well. So let's get into it. The EF lenses are still very good. They are sharp, they are accurate, they are really good for any professional setting. So you'll be fine using these for the foreseeable future. Even on a high megapixel mirrorless body, they work fantastically well. And I also like that the lenses are mechanically coupled. So the focus is mechanically used. Basically, it means that you will get a linear kind of response from the lenses when you're twisting the focus ring. For any manual focusing in photography or videography, you can use follow focus units on them. That's really nice. Next, there's a lot more options in the EF world, both first party from Canon and third party from Sigma and Tamron. The lens lineup of the EF ecosystem is massive, and you can also buy them used. So the price difference is pretty extensive. You could get 3 of the EF lenses for the price of 1 RF L prime, which is significant. You should consider these things when making your decisions, especially since the old glass still works in basically anything right now. And some of these older optical designs for the EF mount just have that special something, a character that you can't get on the new lenses, even if you find a counterpart. For example, the lens I'm filming on, the fisheye, does not exist on actually a lot of different manufacturers' mounts. This kind of a lens is very special. The Canon 50mm 1.2 is extremely special in its own right. It's technically so flawed. It's basically a horrible lens if you look at the current lens reviews, but it just has a really nice rendering and quality to it. So getting the new glass, it's a completely different environment. It's a different kind of space of optical design. It's very perfect. There are some really nice qualities to them as well, so it's not like this wins over the other. But it's something that you have to consider, what kind of a look are you going for? And for me, the EF kind of not perfect, not clinically sharp style goes really well. And for example, maybe the 85 1.4 that I have, or the 72-200 f2.8 actually, they have a really nice kind of swirly bokeh. So when we're talking about the Helios lenses, for example, the Helios 44-2, they're not that crazy for sure, but they really are a nice kind of space between this kind of vintage, slightly vignetting, slightly swirly bokeh and this kind of new age sharp lenses. So there's always I think there are a nice middle ground between the sharpness and the kind of the quality of the image in a more artistic way. And then there's the question of adapting or multi-purpose use of lenses. So you have how many different camera manufacturers currently using mirrorless mounts? Maybe the Pentax hasn't moved to mirrorless yet, but you can use the EF glass on anything. You can use them on Sony, you can use them on Panasonic, Nikon. All the new cinema cameras basically are still coming out with an option to switch out the PL, the standard PL cinema mount to an EF mount. Even though EF mount has been kind of discontinued, there's no new lenses coming for it, but there's still a demand because the lineup is good, it's very strong, there's so many lenses, and as I said, mechanically coupled, that's probably a good thing for the cinema lineup as well. So you have such a huge variety of different cameras from E mount to Z mount. You can use all of these lenses to anything, and that's for me as well. I don't see using adapters as a detriment. I'm using my Blackmagic camera with Meta Bones speed booster, 0.64. So I'm getting a 1.2 crop factor on a micro four thirds sensor. That's a beautiful image. It just becomes, with a full frame lens, it becomes a very nice, very cinematic. I don't want to use that word. It just becomes a very nice image, all right? And I'm using an adapter on the R5 as well. It works fantastically well. So it's not a detriment. And not to speak of not to mention the adapters that have come out for the RF mount as well. You can get a speed booster for the Canon cameras, for the Red cameras. And is my image very dark? No. Yeah, so you can get a speed booster. You can get one more stop of light from the EF glass on the new RF mount. You can also get adapters for the RF mount that you get like a variable ND filter at the bottom. So you can use your bulbous wide-angle lenses wide open if you want to. Hey, my doggy's coming. Maybe she comes into the image as well. Hello. I think. No, she's not. Yeah. Oh. Okay, there she is. In any case, adapters are nice, I think. Especially with this new flange distance, they provide you with a new kind of new purpose, new kind of way of using these lenses. So all that sounds a little bit too good to be true, right? Why did Canon make the RF mount if EF glass is so capable? First of all, RF glass is, for the most part, a little bit sharper than their EF counterparts. And in the case of the 50mm 1.2, for example, it's a lot sharper. There's a lot less technical flaws in that lens, and in a lot of the RF glass in general, there's a lot less kind of, chromatic aberration and all these kind of ghosting and things like that, which you can find on even the highest quality of EF glass sometimes. Then one thing is that the focus speed despite the focus speed being pretty good on the EF glass, it's still not quite on par with the RF stuff. So 99.9% of the time, you'll be fine on the EF. So for the highest speed of sports, maybe dogs running at you, some of the glass is not quite on par, and the RF glass just has this, the linear motors and things on the high-end glass. So that really kind of surpasses the capabilities of the EF. But I've tested all my lenses, all my EF lenses on the R5 with the autofocus, and it works so well. Like, you shouldn't be worried about it. Even like adapting to different manufacturers mount. Like I've seen some videos of Panasonic users adapting EF glass onto the L mount, and the autofocus for video is still really nice. So, for most things, it's really, really cool. And then really kind of a bad thing for the EF glass, some of it, especially the older ones. I think the 40mm Pancake, for example, is discontinued from Canon. So if you don't know a lens wizard, technician who has spare parts laying around and can fix a lens for you, you're not going to get it fixed. So if you break a lens, that's going to be pretty much it for that lens. If it is discontinued, that is. Another thing is the new RF mount does have kind of benefit in the technical design of it. So it gets you lenses like the 28 to 70 f2, which is big, bulky, heavy, really expensive, but it's one of these lenses, one of the rare ones that can kind of replace 3 primes for you, basically, if you're so inclined. No other manufacturer has a lens like that. They have other lenses that Canon doesn't have currently, quite a bit of them actually, but it's still a kind of a nice thing to have in your back pocket, that you can buy a lens that is so unique and so it's like these kind of halo products that you don't get so many times, but it's a really nice one. So that's the benefit of the RF system as well. It's starting to rain, I'm gonna move. All in all, I have no compelling reason to switch from my EF lenses to the new RF mount lenses. You might have a different opinion. I respect that. But, you know, I've even dreamed that maybe in 30, 40 years, one of my EF lenses is so redeemed as an, you know, vintage aesthetic lens that I'll make back all the money I've lost with the gear depreciation over the years. You know, one can dream. So that was my comparison of the EF, RF mounts and lenses and stuff like that. I'll be going over each of my lenses in the future separately as well. I will not handle that as a lens review per se. They will be kind of archetype reviews. So, you know, why should you have a fisheye lens? Why should you have a 24? What kind of opportunities and pitfalls they have, both in terms of photography and videography. I've been working in the field for 10 years so I have a lot of experience in all kinds of different situations and use cases for all kinds of lenses and things like that. So stay tuned. If you have any questions, just post them below and I'll be sure to answer them. You know, ask anything about these lenses, about, you know, whatever you want. So thank you for listening and take care.